Hey there, welcome to Cigar Audit. Matt here to review the CLE Azabache, which was a TAA exclusive in 2016. And I've been hoarding it in my humidor. I haven't actually touched it. I actually kind of forgot about it. So I saw it the other day and thought, you know what, probably a good stick to do a review on. And I only have one, and Ed's not here, so screw him. So anyway, let me get into the cigar here. It's wrapped in tissue paper, no cellophane. They're not huge fans of cellophane themselves. This is a 5x50 Robusto, and it actually has tobacco from a lot of different places. Let's see, Honduras, Nicaragua, Peru, and the wrapper is a San Andreas Mexican. Well, after struggling with the tissue paper, this cigar is a Maduro, and it has quite a toothy feel to it. The seams are, I would say, moderately tight, but you can see a little bit of lift here and there. Looks like a very nice, I'm going to say double cap, maybe triple on the end. I'm not sure if that's looks like a double cap to me, but almost a sandpapery feel to it. So as far as the aroma is concerned, I just get a faint tobacco, maybe a faint sweet tobacco, but not much to it. It seems to be fairly packed tight, no loose spots, a little bit of a flat top and bottom, so let's get it cut up and see what the pre-light draw is like. So on the pre-light draw, I definitely get a sweet tobacco with a slight sweet vegetal note to it. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's not very strong, but the resistance is just perfect. So I'll get this guy toasted up, see what it tastes like. Upon the first few draws, I definitely get a toasted bread. And a very mild tobacco and mild earth, and just a hint of black pepper on the finish. But so far, very smooth, right at the first light, no bitterness at all, which is nice. It's letting off lots of smoke. Good foot smoke, good smoke on the head. And a pretty calm finish. I would say I get a little bit of the earth, and right now I'm starting to get a hint of cocoa, like a real dark, not quite bitter, but dark chocolate cocoa type flavor. Now through the nose, this is an interesting mix. I get the a little bit of that cocoa and vegetal note, which is kind of an interesting mix. And then it gives you a quick white and black pepper at the end, but the finish is super clean and pretty short. So we'll see, we'll get a little further down in this cigar, and I'll let you know how the first third progresses. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt here to go over the CLE Azabache. This is the TAA exclusive from 2016. So first third, I would say that it's performed very well. As you can see on the ash there, it's holding fairly well. Construction is good, draw is good, smoke output is great. The flavors are very similar to the original light draw, where you get some earth, not very deep necessarily, but kind of a standard earth mixed in with a dark cocoa. And I was getting a vegetal sweetness, and that's moved to a hard to define fruity sweetness, maybe like a black cherry. Nothing that's so over the top. but through the nose, you tend to get more of that cocoa. And towards the end of the finish through the nose, you definitely get that sweetness that comes through. And black pepper really starts about halfway through the draw flavors and turns into the finish. And the black pepper will stay with you for the most part all the way through to the next draw. And as you can see, plenty of smoke. And when I say the black pepper stays to the end of the draw, or to the next draw, it's not a heavy black pepper. It's pleasant. I'm enjoying it. Nothing that would be overpowering by any means. So don't mistake this as a pepper bomb. But so far, I really like this guy. You know, good flavors. I'm hoping for a transition here. So we'll see if the second third gives me a little bit more complexity. At this point, I wouldn't say it's overly complex. Fairly straight ahead. You still get a lot of that sweet tobacco flavor. But we'll see if the second third progresses into something different. But so far, so good. I'm looking forward to the next third. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt here to go over the second third of the CLE Azabache. I could be butchering that name, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, I would say the second third is a slight different flavor note. I would say that it's moved more to a dark roast coffee. And you still get a little hint of that cocoa from time to time, but for the most part it's to a coffee and an earth. And the black pepper is still present. Again, not so overwhelming that it's a problem, but it does last quite a bit. Most of the sweetness is gone, so it's turned into more of a coffee, earthy cigar, but still pleasant nonetheless. And as you can see, plenty of smoke. Construction's pretty good. I did have to do a quick little touch-up, but very minor at this point. More from my OCD-ness than anything else. But I'm really enjoying it. I was expecting a little bit more of a drastic transition, but at this point, it's still performing well. It's not burning hot at all. The ash is flowering a little bit, so just be mindful. I don't know if this is a cigar that you're going to want to smoke in a car or anything along those lines, but good nonetheless. Through the nose, I would say that you definitely get a little bit of that vegetal sweetness. It's moved back from fruit to vegetal, and it definitely gives you quite a bit of a spice, a white pepper, black pepper mix. And the finish just gives you kind of a sweet tobacco. So it's not an overly complex cigar. You would hope that a TAA exclusive would be more complex. Pleasant nonetheless, a good cigar, but at this point not great. Pleasant to smoke, I'm enjoying it, having a good time. But at this point I was hoping for a little bit more, so who knows, you know, maybe the last third will have a little surprise in there for me. The burn does tend to get a little wavy. Not something that I would say is a major issue. Like, I'm going to touch this guy up here real quick, just so that I can get a little more even burn. But in general, pretty good so far. So I'll finish up the cigar and I'll let you know how it progresses. Welcome back to Cigar Audit. Matt here to finish up the CLE Azabache TAA exclusive. So interestingly, I was talking about how this cigar wasn't very complex. Well, the last third became more complex, which is kind of bizarre. Usually you don't see that in the last third of a cigar. So a couple of things. One, I would say it was medium bodied for most of the cigar. Last third, medium full. The strength has kicked up a little bit. I'd say it's medium full. And the complexity is the change in flavors. So the flavors moved from that earthy cocoa to more of a leather with a little bit of vegetal note to it. So that's been fairly consistent. But through the nose you get a citrus hit, and the leather becomes more pronounced at that point. So, and then you just get a little zing at the end, which might be a little extra spice to the citrus note. So very different to have that kind of a transition drastically at the last third. And on the draw, you definitely get, you still get some of that black coffee, but I would say it's leather, and then you get some woodiness in there, kind of a spicy woodiness. So I have to say I'm pretty pleased with the last third. Maybe a little too late, but it's hard to complain. It's a very good cigar. The beginning, you essentially had three significant transitions from the standpoint of more of the cocoa to more of the coffee, and at this point more of the leather and woodiness with a citrus note through the nose. So I would say that it's an enjoyable cigar. It's definitely worth picking up if you can still find some out there. Obviously with the TAA, there aren't many out there. I think they made 300 and some boxes of them. But finish on it is pretty long at this point. Definitely get that leather earthy note with a little bit of black pepper on the finish. But construction was great. I can't fault construction at all. And overall, very pleasant cigar. So this one's a tricky one to rate because the ending is actually, I think, as good if not much better than the rest of the cigar because of the complexity. Yeah, it's definitely turns to a leather note here at the end. So I think I was a little underwhelmed. Pleasant nonetheless in the first two thirds. Last third I like a lot. So I think I'm going to go with a 91 on this cigar. If it was more complex through the first few thirds with those raw flavors, I would be more than happy to go mid-90s on this guy. But it was a good cigar in the beginning, not a great cigar. It got a little better here at the end, and I gotta say I enjoyed it, especially with the various types of flavors that you get here at the end. So anyway, 91's a good rating. It's a good cigar, and I enjoy it. I'm gonna see if I can pick up a few more and maybe give them another year down and see what they're like with a couple years on them. So thank you for watching Cigar Audit. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, Twitter stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So, but very good. The CLE Azabache, I believe, or Azabache. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Anyway, I'll get it right someday. See you next time. Bye.